Hello, everyone, and good day. This time, I will be discussing to you a part of our topic, which is the K 12 curriculum, and this will be part of our exam on Friday. I will be including this, so I hope you will find time to listen and maybe study parts of this lesson. Okay, so let's start. And before I will start our lesson, we have here the title Understanding and Appreciating the CF, CG, LM, and TG. Now, I will give you time to take a pause this video, and try to think and to know what is the meaning of CF, CG, LM, and TG. Okay, before I will continue. Okay, so let's see if you get it right. The meaning of CF, CG, LM, and TG. There we are. There. So we have CF for conceptual framework, CG for curriculum guide, LM learner's material, and TG teacher's guide. So these are some of the things that we need to know and we will be tackling about as we go on with our discussion. Okay. There. So curriculum framework. This is about the concept and the principles that are uh, inside the curriculum framework. The curriculum framework has concept and principles about particularly education, about the K to 12 curriculum. There. So this is our session objectives. In this learning session, the participants should be able to discuss the English conceptual framework by distinguishing its major components, showing relationship among the components, explaining how the curriculum guide, the LM, and TG are aligned with the conceptual framework. Get familiarized with the contents of the curriculum guide, learner's material, and teacher's guide. Show appreciation of the curriculum in developing and producing a holistic Filipino learner or child. Okay, so objectives number 1 and 2. This can be easily uh, discussed and get familiarized with through lectures and activities. But we have here number 3, the appreciation of the curriculum. So this is a broader term, no? A broader idea that just can't be learned through discussion and lecture. But you need to appreciate, you need to value the Filipino learners. So this should be our first activity, our group work, but we will not be doing this. But maybe you can just think about it. What do you dream of these Filipino learners? So I want you to visualize you as yourself as a teacher. Okay, and you'll be thinking your vision for the Filipino learners, just like the RSU mission and vision, the Romblon State University, as a premier institution there. So just like that. So you'll be thinking about your vision for the Filipino learners. What do you want for them when you become teachers? Okay. Then you'll be thinking about how do you feel? Are you happy? Are you are you motivated, inspired about crafting your vision? No. So we don't need to answer these questions anymore because this is a group activity for face-to-face classes. But we will be skipping this. But I want you to realize your vision. I want you to think about what do you want for those Filipino learners when you become teachers. Okay, so in that way we can appreciate the curriculum's purpose for the Filipino learners. Okay, so here is the question. Where is English in the K to 12 basic education curriculum framework? So where is it? So we have here the K to 12 basic education curriculum framework. There. So we have the philosophical, the context, the system, and how everything works. Every subject, every topic. Okay, so uh, English is down here in the left side, left bottom left corner of the circle of the curriculum framework. So the purpose is that we have here the language. So it is not specifically the word English, but language. And then we have here one of its goal, effective communication skills. This means that in the English curriculum or the K-12 basic education curriculum framework, the main goal is to have that or to achieve that holistic development for every Filipino learners. No? And one of the subjects, one of the topics is about language. And the goal of the language is to have, to make the learners have that effective communication skills. So, ang goal pala ng language sa curriculum framework is not just for the students, for the learners to learn English, to write, to speak English, but for them to effectively communicate, to gain that effective communication skills. So that is the goal of language subjects such as English in the curriculum framework. And that is part of the holistic development of, or the purpose of this framework. Okay? So that was the K-12 basic education curriculum framework. Now, this is the English conceptual framework alone. This is the English or the language conceptual framework alone. So, as you can see, it all starts here in the bottom side of the conceptual framework. We have the theories of language teaching, theories of language learning and acquisition, theories of language. Okay. So, it all starts there, and then it circles around here. In the middle, we have here interaction, contextualization, spiral progression. Anyway, we'll be discussing this later. And then it also rounds with assessment and feedback. And then in the end, the main goal is to have that communicative competence and multiliteracies to be acquired. Okay? So let us talk about the philosophy, rationale, and guiding principles of the English conceptual framework. Okay, first one we have here, language is the basis of all communication and the primary instrument of thought. So this just means that communication starts with language. It's the basis. Communication occurs because of language. It is the primary instrument, meaning communication cannot be done without the language. So that is the philosophy number one. Okay. Number two, therefore, language is central to the people's intellectual, social, and emotional development and has an essential role in all key learning areas. So, it means that a person's development, it can be emotional, social or intellectual. There. So, language has a vital role. It's the central. We can't have our emotional development. We can't be moody. We can't be happy. We can socialize to people. And we can improve our intellectual ability. Hindi tayo nagiging matalino or magaling without the language. So it is central to the people's different development. No? And has role in all key learning areas, not just English alone, but in all key learning areas. Number three, we have language is the foundation of all human relationships. People use language to make sense of and bring order to their world. There. So it is the foundation. That's why we have relationships, we have family relationships, we have friendships and other relationships. No? It is because of the language. It is the foundation of all human relationships. It is also the reason why there is order in the world. It brings order to the world. Ikaw ba naman na makabasa ng batas or paano mo masusunod yung isang batas na hindi mo maintindihan yung language? Language makes sense of and bring order to the world. So you can, there is order when there is language, or if you can understand the language. Number 4, therefore, proficiency in the language enables people to access, process, and keep abreast of information, to engage with wider and more diverse communities, and to learn about the role of language in their own lives, in their own and other culture. So as you can see, the goal of learning the language is to have that proficiency. So if you have that proficiency in using the language, you have more access. You have more access to that information. You have a wider and more diverse engagement to the communities because you have proficiency in that specific language. For example, you're proficient with the language of the English language. So when you go to other countries that speak English, you can have more access. Also to Japan, you're proficient to the Japanese language. You can have more access to their information, to their communities because you are proficient in the language. Okay? You can learn more about their lives, their own culture, and of course our own culture as well. So that's philosophy number 4. Okay, so before I continue this guiding principle, I want you to remember and think about what you can remember about those philosophies. So first one, we have language is the basis of all communication. This is the basis. It is the central. No? And then we have human relationships. And then we have that opportunities for those who are proficient to the language. Okay, let's move to the guiding principles. Okay, first one, all languages are interrelated and interdependent. Okay, so this means that when one language changes or one language improves, it can affect other languages. So they are interrelated. Magkakakonekta sila, all languages. Okay? Language acquisition and learning is an active process. Okay. So it is an active process. Hindi siya tumitigil yung language acquisition and learning. Yeah. It begins at birth, pagka panganak mo. Nang ipanganak ka sa mundo, simula nun ay meron ka ng natututunang language hanggang lumaki ka. Hanggang that continues throughout life. Yeah, so it is an active process. So hindi siya passive na you're just sitting there and just hearing everything. When we say active process, you are hearing it, you are using it, you can be curious about it. How can I use this language? Then you are learning that language. Number 3, we have language learning requires meaning, or language learning requires meaning. So there is no learning when you don't know what it means, di ba? So dapat alam mo kung ano ibig sabihin ng word na ito or ng language na to. For that, para malaman mo kung meron kang natutunan dun sa language na yun. For example, may mga kausap kang Korean. Yeah. So you can't really understand kung paano sila mag-usap unless you know what is the meaning of the language that they are using. For example, nag-usap sila tapos biglang nagsalita siya ng kansamida. Ay, yun lang yung alam mo na word, yung kansamida lang. So, yun lang yung alam mo. Yun lang yung na-learn mo. And then, ibig sabihin, yun lang yung may meaning para sa'yo. So, learning requires meaning. Next, we have learners learn about language and how to use it effectively through their engagement with and study of text. Ayan. So, we can learn language, or specifically learners can learn about the language when they use it, when they are being engaged. Yan. Sa pang-araw-araw na ginagamit mo yung language na yan, no? ginagamit mo, hindi ka lang nagsa-study, so hindi lang pala pwede na you just study the text. You have to use it. You have to be engaged with other people who are using that language. So hindi rin effective kung magkikipag-engage ka lang. You still have to study their text. Okay, next we have successful language learning involves viewing. Ayan. So, magiging successful lang yung language learning kung nandyan yung 5 macro skills. Although effective rin kapag isang macro skill lang, speaking lang, pero it can be more effective, it can be more successful if it involves the activities for the 5 macro skills. Okay, language learning involves recognizing, accepting, valuing, and building on students' existing language. Competence, including the use of non-standard forms of the language and extending the range of language available to students. Yeah. So there are students, there are learners that already has existing language competence. They already know how to use the language. So the goal of language teachers is to recognize and accept and value their knowledge about the existing language. Yeah. So, pwedeng gumamit ng non-standard forms kasi maaaring yung alam nila ay yung standard na paggamit. We can use non-standard forms. Diba? For example, sa language natin. Normally, gumagamit lang tayo yung mga accepted na sa wikang Filipino. But we can use non-standard forms like gay lingos and yung mga ngayon, mga word na modern words ngayon na nadagdag especially nung pandemic era. Yeah. Yung mga etneb, erpat, ermat, yeah. And then that will help to extend the range of language available to students. Okay. So, yun yung guiding principles for the English language conceptual framework. Now we have here language for language arts and multiliteracy curriculum to be effective. Okay, so it should have the following principles. Develops thinking and language through interactive learning. Ayan, so dapat ang learning ay interactive for that thinking and language use to be effective. Develops communicative competence and critical literacy. Yan, katulad nga dun sa sa conceptual framework natin ng English, nandiyan yun. Main goal ng conceptual framework ng English curriculum is that communicative competence. So, dapat maging effective lang yung language arts and multiliteracy curriculum kung ang goal niya ay communicative competence and critical literacy. Draws on literature. Ayan. Dapat meron ding part na nagkikwento ng literature, especially our own literature for understanding of literacy heritage. Ayan. So, kung ibang bansa man, pinag-aaralan natin yung Indian literature, American literature, para mas malaman natin yung kanilang heritage. Okay. Number 4, draws on informational text. Ayan. So, hindi lang sa literature, kahit yung mismong informational text and multimedia lang. No? For us to develop academic vocabulary and strong content knowledge. Okay, number 5, develop students' oral language and literacy. Ayan. So, importante din yan, na ma-develop yung oral language and literacy, the way na paggamit ng language through speaking. Ayan. And then, dapat, it should be challenging. No? Hindi yung masyadong madali na talagang, sinusubo lang natin sa learners. So, dapat, it should be challenging. Siyempre, kung may oral language, meron ding writing arguments, meron ding reading. Yan, reading. Okay. Meron ding building on language experiences. Yan. So, dapat hindi lang sa yung pang-academic mismo na reading and writing, speaking. It should be about their experiences. That interest. Yan. So, it should bring interest and motivation. So, students to go to school or to learn and build that language. Number 9, we have nurture students' sense of their common ground. Ayan. So, sa number 9, magiging effective ang language arts curriculum kung nagpe-prepare para sa mga students to be global citizens. Yeah. And then, yung kanilang civic life. So, we are being futuristic. No? Kumbaga, talagang iniisip mo na yung pag-aaral mo ng English ay para sa pag-abroad mo. Or to be globally competitive sa mga international na client. So, yan, that's another guiding principle of language arts curriculum. Assess and reflects the student's ability to interpret and communicate in the target language. So, hindi enough na nasusulat or nababasa ng isang student yung English language or the target language. That student should be able to interpret, to be able to communicate, no, the target language. Dapat kaya niyang gamitin, kaya niyang makipag-usap in the target language, hindi niya lang nababasa at susulat. Okay, so those are the 10 guiding principles. Let us recap. Napaka-importante yung pag-recap kung may natatandaan kayo. No? Yan. So, i-recap nyo kung may natandaan kayo about sa 10 guiding principles. Yan. So, of course, meron tayo yung oral, writing arguments, reading, and then preparing them to be global citizens. We have, it should be interesting, it should provide interest, no? And then, yan. So, meron pang develop communicative and literacy, literature, and informational text. So, yun yung mga i-review nyo lang ulit. No? Magandang bagay na binabalikan nyo yung nabasa nyo or yung napakinggan nyo. Okay. Okay, let's now move to the needs of the learners of in the K-12 curriculum. So, the learners that we are talking about here are the Generation Z. Ayan. Born after 1994 until 2004. Well, there are sources that are saying that Generation Z learners are until 2009. Pero ito yung nakalagay sa source na pinagkunan natin. No, from DepEd, which is 2004. So, who are they? Okay, isa-isahin natin to. They are extremely comfortable with technology. Yan, magaling na gumamit ng technology unlike the other generations. Often termed as digital natives. Yan, pag sinabi nating natives, parang yun na yung kinabubuhay nila. Hindi na mabuhay nang walang digital technology. Medyo hindi na gumagamit ng traditional way. Yan. Next, we have lead a sedentary life or lead a sedentary life. Pag sinabi nating sedentary life, ayan ay yung parang mahilig hindi na mahilig makipag-socialize. Okay? Gusto lang sa loob ng bahay or loner, hindi na gumagawa ng ibang bagay, ibang trabaho, yan. So, lead a sedentary life. Social media platforms are a way to communicate with the outside world. Yeah, so, talagang hindi na pumupunta-punta kung saan-saan para makipag-communicate, para mag-announce. Talagang social media na ang ginagamit to communicate. Unable to analyze complex data and information. Bakit yung mga Gen Z ay hindi na sila makapag-analyze ng complex data and information? Katulad nga nasabi ko noong nakaraan, dahil nagiging uso na yung brain rot, na hinahayaan natin yung technology, na sila nang gumawa, sila nang mag-isip. No? Talagang yung brain ng mga learners ay hindi na sanay mag-isip ng complex data kasi hinahayaan na nila yung AI, yung technology na gumawa nun. And then talagang sinusubo na lang yung data, yung information. No? Talagang hindi na masyadong napapractice yung analysis ng isang learner. Then we have creative and collaborative. Ayan. Dahil na rin sa trend ng teaching na talagang yung mga task, yung mga outputs ay collaborative group activity. Ayan. Talagang they are more creative. Okay? Dahil na rin sa pag-usbong ng mga magagandang graphics, mga designs. Yan. So, nagiging creative na yung mga learners. Adept at multitasking. Yan. Sanay na yung mga ngayon na nagsa-cellphone, nagre-review, habang nagre-review, O kaya, ah, nagsusulat habang nanonood, ganyan, nakikinig sa teacher habang nagchismisan sa katabi. So, yan, they are adept at multitasking. Hindi katulad ng other generations, talagang tatapusin mo na isang task bago gawin yung ibang task. Hindi tatanggap ng ibang task, gagawin mo na ibang task. Okay? First generation to be born with complete technology. So, yung mga older generations, so Generation C, Generation Y, and Generation X, or Generation Y or Millennials, yung mga baby boomers, silent period yun, mga 1940s and 1960s. So, hindi talaga sila complete technology kahit yung millennials na Generation Y before 1994. So, ito yung first generation na complete ang technology. Rather stay indoors and use their electronics than play outdoors and be active. So, ito totoo talaga to, no? Talagang bigyan mo lang ang bata ng internet at gadget, kahit sa loob lang sila ng bahay buong araw, wala nang kain-kain, walang labas-labas, ihi na lang ang pahinga. So, they rather do that than play outdoors. Although meron pa namang ibang mga bata, mga Gen Z na learners, they want to play outdoors and be active. Okay. Can email, text, and use computers without any problems. Yan. So, unlike ng mga millennials and Gen X, talaga nagtatanong po sila sa mga Gen Z learners na paano gamitin ng computer, paano bubuksan tong email na to. Diba? Paano bubuksan ng computer na to. Pero ang Gen Z, without any problems, kaya nilang gawin yan. Okay? So, yan yung Generation Z. Kailangan malaman ng isang language teacher kung paano niya ba i-deal yung ganitong klaseng learners. Yan. So, again, before we proceed, alalahanin, take time to recall kung ano yung mga Gen Z learners. We have led a sedentary life, yeah, digital natives, adept at multitasking, ano pa, first generation to be born with complete technology, okay, then, yeah, so, itry nyo recall, no? Kung kaya nyo i-recall lahat, recall nyo bago mag-proceed dito sa outcomes. You can pause the video. Okay, the outcomes of the language arts and multiliteracies curriculum ARD3, no? Divided into two parts. Okay, we have interacting with others under communicative competence, understanding and learning other content areas, and fending for themselves in whatever field of endeavor they may engage in. Ayan. So, dapat ma-inspire natin sila on what they are going to be in the future, they want to be. So, it is also a preparation for their future careers. Okay. So, yung understanding and learning content areas under multiliteracies yan. So, yung interacting with others, communicative competence na talaga. So, it aims to produce graduates who apply the language conventions, spelling, grammar, proper use of words, and dyan yun sa language conventions. Principles, strategies, and skills of graduate, of a student. Okay? So, napag-aralan na natin last time itong communicative competence, itong itong apat under communicative competence: grammatical, discourse, social, linguistic, and strategic competence. Under multiliteracies naman, we also have 4. Social literacy, the way you can socialize with other people, no? New literacy practices, the way you practice the trends in education, the new literacy in education. Professional, the way you become formal with dealing with other people. And also yung traditional, hindi pa rin natin tatanggal sa ating mga practice. No? Kahit advanced na tayo, kahit modern na yung ginagamit natin, nandiyan pa rin yung traditional literacy practices. Okay, again, ano yung 4 na multiliteracies? We have social, traditional, professional, and the new literacy practices. Okay, so the outcomes, ayun, nabanggit ko na kanina yung outcomes natin. Highly developed literacy skills that enable them to understand that English language is the most widely used medium of communication. So, English language is the most widely used. Okay? Furthermore, the curriculum aims to help learners understand that English language is dynamic social process. Pag sinabi natin dynamic, talagang lagi siyang nagbabago in English. Lagi may mga nakikreate na new words at na giging trend na words. Ayan. Reflects changing social conditions. Ayan. So, the way na pakikipag-usap at pakikipag-socialize with other people. That's a part of language. Then, lastly, through multiliteracy skills, learners will be able to appreciate and be sensitive to social-cultural diversity. Ayan. So, when learners learn these multiliteracies, they can be more sensitive to social-cultural diversity. So, they will be communicating and they will be communicating with others, especially with other diversity, with other culture, with sensitiveness. Kasi natutunan na nila yung multiliteracy skills. Okay, punta tayo. Pag-usapan natin ngayon yung kanina, yung English conceptual framework. Ayan, isa-isahin natin yan. So we have the component 1, which is language learning process. Ayan, hanggang sa paikot ng bilog. Okay? So ano yung una? We have here the spiral progression. Ayan. So pag sinabi natin spiral progression, meron tayo yung keyword. Sige, ilagay natin sa ating whiteboard notes para magamit naman yung ating whiteboard notes. Okay, increasing level of difficulty. Okay. Pag sinabi nating spiral progression, yung talaga nagsa-start sa level 1 hanggang pahirap ng pahirap yung mga lesson. So sa una, mahidali, ng pahirap, that's why yung ganun din yung natin, yung grade level, grade 1 to senior high school to college, yan. Talagang nagsisimula sa foundational level, to higher level. Then interaction, ayan. So sa interaction naman, dapat na-apply yung use of language sa real life situations. Ayan. Okay, dapat na-apply siya sa real life situation. Yung context, yung simulation sa classroom ay ginagawa ng real life to improve their socialization skills. Next, integration. Yan. Katulad ng sabi ko last time yung topic natin na content-based integration, content CBI. Ayan. So, yung English, yung language will be taught in an integrated way. Ayan. Integrated way yung English, talagang through print or non-print man, no? Multiple perspective and meaningful connections. Yan. So, yung pagtuturo ng English, yung language na apply natin sa cooking, sa vlogging, to make it more interesting and more explicit. Okay, and then of course, learner-centeredness. Learner ang center ng teaching and learning process. It is the center of TLP or teaching learning process ang learners. Tandaan natin yan. Okay, so dapat ang teacher ang nag-adjust sa students' needs, abilities, and interest ng mga learners. Okay, contextualization. Yeah. So contextualization is about acquiring the language in authentic and meaningful context. So again, this is about the strategy of the teacher. Kung paano niya i-contextualize ang topic. No? Kung paano i-contextualize ang activities para mas maging authentic at maging mas meaningful para sa mga teachers, ay sa mga learners. For example, lessons will be planned around learning outcomes, a theme or a type of text to help learners use related language skills, grammatical items. Ayan. So, dapat yung ginagamit na learning task and activities, yung nakaka-relate yung mga learners. And then, of course, kailangan meron siyang follow-up, practice, and explicit instruction. Okay. Next, we have construction. Ito. Important ito. The heart of language learning. The heart of language learning. Learning is, yan, nakalagay dyan, ano yan? Is making meaning. Yan. dapat naiintindihan mo yung paggamit ng language to be able for you to learn the language. Yan, hindi mo naman magamit yung mga word na hindi mo maintindihan. For example, gumamit ka ng mga salita ng ibang lahi. For example, chong chang chong pang chang. So may meaning ba yon? Yung word na yon? Wala, kasi gawa-gawa ko lang yun. Gawa-gawa lang yun, no? So, ibig sabihin, kung gawa-gawa lang yun, yung language na yun, walang meaning. So, there is no learning. Okay? So, learning tasks and activities will be designed for learners in such a way that they will have time to reflect on and respond to ideas. Napaka-importante din na when a language teacher teaches, the teacher must give time to reflect. Yan. Mag-pause. Yan, bigyan ng time na mag-isip, mag-respond ang learners. Ask questions. Di yun, tuloy-tuloy ka lang mag-discuss ng lesson without giving them time to think. Without giving them time to respond. Kaya napaka-importante din dito sa construction ang scaffolding. Yan. What do you mean by scaffolding? It is guiding the learners. It is about leading them to the correct answer without giving them the exact answer. No? You ask follow-up questions, you ask related questions, you give clues. Yan. Lahat yan ay under scaffolding. So that's construction. Okay, punta tayo sa component 2, which is effective language use. So understanding culture, language processes, and strategy. Ayan. So understanding culture, of course. Learning language is also about understanding different culture. Yan. Kung paano nila gamitin yung mga text type, kung paano sila mag-appreciate ng literature sa other culture, kasama yan sa conceptual framework ng English. Understanding language, kung paano yung system ng kanilang language, kung anong meaning ng mga words. Iba yung meaning nila ng ganitong words sa atin, iba yung meaning ng ganong words sa ibang language. Yan. Process and strategies on which way a learner can learn the language in what process. No? Sa parte niya na teacher ko, anong strategy ng teacher para mas madaling maintindihan ng learner ang language. There are variety of process, variety of purpose, variety of strategies to help learners learn the language. Okay, component 3, making meaning through language. Again, inuulit ko ulit dito, the heart of language learning is, ayan, dito sa, ayan, the heart of the language learning, ayan, is making meaning. Ayan, the exchange of meaning. Okay? Then, we have here the skills, grammatical items, structures, and various types of text will be taught and revisited at increasing levels of difficulty. Again, yung increasing levels of difficulty and sophistication natin ay ito yung spiral progression. That's how meaning is made pagdating sa conceptual framework ng English. And lastly, yung 5 macro skills. Yan, napaka-importante yan. The 5 macro skills should be included. Yeah. It is intertwined, integrated. No, kasama talaga siya sa lesson. They serve as building blocks. Okay? The 5 macro skills are the building blocks of understanding. Yeah. Okay. For more effective communication. Kasi ang goal, again, ano ang goal ng the goal of the language sa curriculum, goal of the language sa curriculum is for that effective communication skills to be used. Ayan. So, ito yung pinaka-goal ng language sa K-12 curriculum framework. Okay. Ito, tingnan natin kung saan ba ginagamit ang mga language art domains na to. Oral language for listening and speaking, phonological awareness, yan pa. Sa listening talaga yan. Book and print knowledge, of course, sa reading yan. Alphabet knowledge sa lahat. Phonics and word recognition, listening, reading, and writing. Fluency, speaking, and reading. Spelling, of course, reading and writing yan. Writing composition sa 4 maliban sa viewing. Grammar awareness and structure, maliban sa viewing din. Vocabulary development ay lahat. Yan. Sama listening, speaking, reading, writing, and viewing. Lahat ng yun ay to develop vocabulary development. Reading comprehension, of course, reading, writing, and viewing. Wala namang reading comprehension sa speaking and listening. Listening comprehension, yun naman ang kabaliktaran. Sa listening and speaking naman, ang listening comprehension. So, pag may question na, what is the difference of reading comprehension and listening comprehension? Yan. Ang reading comprehension ay doon lang sa tatlong reading, writing, and viewing. And then speaking, listening, yung listening comprehension. Attitudes, lahat yan. And study strategies, lahat din. Okay. So, saan naman siya normally na-apply? Yung mga domains na yan. Anong grade? Anong year level? Oral language, lahat. Yan. Siyempre, to train them how to speak. Phonological awareness, listening yan. So, kinder. Book and print knowledge, kinder. Alphabet knowledge, kinder. Alangan magturo ka pa ng alphabet knowledge sa grade 10 sa senior high, di ba? Then we have fluency hanggang grade 10. So, dapat pala fluent ka na sa language, no? Grade 10 pa lang. Spelling hanggang grade 6, yung basic spelling of words. Siyempre, may ibang words na mahirap din spell. Pero basic spelling ng words, grade 6. Writing and composition hanggang grade 12. Diyan natin makikita kung bakit one of the hardest skill to teach is writing and hardest skill to learn. Grammar awareness and structure, lahat din. Vocabulary, lahat. Reading comprehension, lahat. Listening, dapat hanggang grade 10 lang. Attitude, lahat. Study strategies, lahat. And viewing is for grade level and junior high school. Okay. Last na yata ito, itong holistic. Yan, holistic assessment tayo. Pag sinabi natin holistic assessment, the whole personality. Okay? The whole personal development of a learner. Yan. So, pag sa whole personal development, simula academics, physical education, the physical body, mental health, yan, yung health ng students' values, importante rin yan. So, that's the holistic development of a learner. So, kung mapapansin natin, umiikot yung holistic development sa assessment and feedback. Yan. So, napaka-importante na magkasama ang dalawang yan. Siyempre, kung i-assess ng teacher, dapat merong constructive feedback. Okay. Then, sa holistic assessment, the proximity to actual language use and performance. Yan. So, pag sinabi natin proximity, gaano ba kalawak or gaano ka-related para sa kanila? No, actual performance in authentic situations. Gaano ka-related yung actual na paggamit ng language at performance. Holistic view of a language. So, again, holistic ay malawak yan. Whole view of a language. Grammar, phonology, vocabulary. Yan, lahat ng yon ay dapat bigyan ng pansin pagdating sa holistic assessment. Okay. Yun din yung whole learner. Yan, meron na naman tayo. Sige, lagay natin dito sa notes natin. Okay, burain na natin to. Raise the blackboard. Whole learner. Holistic. Yan. So, under holistic, nandiyan yung social, academic, physical, context. Okay. Okay, and then we have integrative view of learning. Ayan. Pag sinabi natin integrative ay we are integrating aspect to aspect. For example, integrating academic to their personal lives. That's an example of integrative view of learning. We are integrating something, no, to another aspect of their lives. Developmental appropriateness. Siyempre, dapat appropriate yung procedure, yung assessment natin. Assessment should be appropriate. Sa age, gender, level ng students. Level of learners. Hindi yung bibigyan mo sila ng sobrang hirap or sobrang dali na hindi naman
akma sa kanilang level. Okay, multiple referencing, napaka-importante na dapat gumagamit tayo ng various sources. Hindi lang isang sources kasi may iba-iba yung maganda yung mga galing sa iba't ibang researches. No? For example, yung kanina sa age ng sa year span ng Generation Z, may iba nagsasabi na 2009, may iba naman nagsasabi na until 2004 only. So maganda yan na kahit yun ay alam din natin. Okay, so that's all, and ito yung yung communicative competence and multiliteracies, ang pinaka-goal ng English conceptual framework. Okay, and so to end this lecture, I want you to answer this topic 2-word, no? Magpo-provide ako ng link sa Google Classroom kung saan niyo ipapasa yung inyong sagot. You can either take a picture, no, or screenshot gamit ang phone nyo. For example, sagot nyo sa number 1 English curriculum. So magiging sagot nyo ay 2 words, no, topic 2 words. Ayan. So pwede nyo screenshot yung galing sa phone nyo at isubmit nyo doon, or you can write it on a clean sheet of paper and then picturean nyo, yun yung i-attach nyo. Okay? So ang gagawin nyo is to so ilista itong mga nanditong words. Ito yung ilalagay nyo sa first word. Yan. So dito yan. Yung sa ito para sa first word nyo, ito yan. Okay, and then para sa second word nyo, ito naman, itong sa slide na ito. Para sa second word nyo, ito para dito sa second word. Again, ito yung para sa first word kasi 2 words yung magiging sagot nyo. Ito naman yung para sa second word. Okay, ready? Are you ready? So ito yung unang number 1, no review, no problem. First word, second word. Number 2, hindi yata naayos to. Ito number 1, then number 2, ito na lang. Sige, ito number 2 natin. Books or copies of lesson, etc. 2 picks, 2 words. Number 3, ito naman ang number 3 natin. Syllabus, lesson plan, etc. Number 4, ito naman yung number 4 natin. Yan. Plus, authentic test and oral performance. Next, excellent L2 learners. L2 users, sorry. Number 5. Number 6, elementary school. Ayan. Number 7, all languages are interrelated and interdependent. Number 8, good in communication. Number 9, for example, if a baby hears the word milk often enough right before being fed from the bottle, he'll soon learn what that word means. Ayan. Then we have number 10, students are actively engaged in the learning process. 11, grammatical, social, strategic discourse. Yan yung clue word. Number 12, a goal of the K-12 curriculum. 13, spoken word. 14, can also sometimes refer to the techniques involved in writing literature. 15, a language other than one's native language that is being learned. Then 16, ito, i-post nyo na lang yung video pag kung medyo mabilis ako. 1994 to 2004. One quality of Generation Z learners. Then Generation Z learners are often termed as then increasing level of difficulty and sophistication. And lastly, words that are traditionally used in academic dialogue and text. Ayan. So kung medyo mabilis yung paglipat ko, pwede nyo namang i-post yung video para may sagot kayo 1 to 20. Again, ang number 1 natin ay hindi ito. Itong number 1 natin. Okay? Number 2 yan. So, kasi ito na yata yung number curriculum framework. Ito na yata yung yung kanina dun sa una-unang slide. Okay, this is your first words. These are your para sa inyong second words. Okay, 1 to 20 yan. Sige, good luck and good luck sa quiz on Friday.